The best salespeople love being on commission because it maximizes their earning potential.
I'll be throwing one of these in with every purchase of 500 million or more. It's a piece.
But the best business owners also love commission because it minimizes your risk. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a commission structure that will be attractive to high quality salespeople. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content. And this is really a channel dedicated to giving you simple strategies to help you grow your business. I'm Amy Walker, Client Acquisition Specialist, and my job is to help you find the simplest path to consistently acquiring your dream clients. Today, we are talking about how to put together a commission structure. Where do you even get started? One of the things that I think is challenging for a lot of entrepreneurs is you want to pay your people well. It's not that you're trying to be a cheapskate. You want them to be able to make a lot of money because then you know they'll be happy and they'll stay and they'll do a good job. But at the same time, you need to make sure that you're minimizing your risk, because when you are a small business owner, every bad investment is really felt. You don't just have the ability to play with things, try it out, have it fail, and not feel it in your day-to-day life. So we need to make sure that we're creating a balance between compensating them really well, but also making sure that we are protecting ourselves. The other thing we've got to take into account is that sometimes when you pay people a base, they can get a little bit complacent or a little bit lazy, which inside of a big company, maybe you could handle, but inside of a small business, that's really hard to deal with. On the other side, we want our people making money quickly so that we can retain our top talent and keep them on the team. So we're going to play around with numbers today. I'm going to show you what that looks like and give you some ideas for how you can create a compensation plan that's going to work really well for your small business. The first question that you have to ask yourself is, how much can I afford to pay out for sales total? So that's going to be a number that I would recommend you consult with your accountant on. What can you afford to pay out total with your sales? Second thing you're going to do is you're going to look at your industry and figure out what is standard for your industry. For example, in my industry, it's pretty standard to pay somewhere between 5% and 25%. And I know that's a big range, but it depends on if somebody is selling high-end, bigger business consulting packages, usually that percentage is lower. Whereas if they're selling something that is maybe a couple $1,000s and maybe a little bit on the lower end of business consulting services, that might be on the higher end of 25%. So you need to know what's standard in your industry. For example, if you're in the SaaS industry and you're paying out, what's industry standard there, which is kind of somewhere between 5 and 15%, and you try to go higher with like a 25% commission to attract in top talent, what might happen is there's a reason why everybody else priced it that way, and it won't be sustainable because of your expenses being higher. Or if you go in and you're low end and you're trying to go 5% and everyone else is paying 7%, that could be a problem as well. So you want to align with your industry so that you seem competitive. Then you're going to play with the numbers to give yourself perks to make your commission plan look better than everybody else's. So what do you do if you can't afford to pay what the industry is paying? That is a problem that ripples into other areas. And so a couple of things that I would look at. Number one, I would look at where, if you can't afford to pay what the people in your industry do, where are you overspending? Are you overspending in you're doubling the marketing expenses that everyone else is doing? Or do you have wasted expenses that are going out each month? Or have you underpriced your services? And this one's really common. A lot of times, especially in service-based businesses like mine, what happens is the business owner comes in and they price the services according to them being the only person that's doing fulfillment and them being the only person that's selling. And so they've underpriced. Then when their business grows and now they are ready to hire a salesperson, there's no money there to play with to pay the salesperson. And there's no money there to pay another coach or another massage therapist or another doctor. So you want to make sure that you're pricing with that in mind from the very beginning. I recommend that even if you are the salesperson and you are the person doing fulfillment, that you budget into your pricing what it would be to pay those people so that you can hire as quickly as possible. The next thing we're going to look at is commission structures for the different types of salespeople. And I'm going to focus on 3. We're going to talk about appointment setters, we're going to talk about closers, and we're going to talk about business development. The difference between the 3 is the setters are going to call your leads, they're going to set them up for the closer. The closer is going to close the leads, and then the business development person is going to be somebody who actually goes out, finds leads, and closes those leads. So those numbers between the 3 different ones could look a little bit different. The first example I'm going to show you is going to be an appointment setter example. And I'm going to use numbers based on my industry, but this would look different. You're just going to translate the same process and you're going to put it into your industry. Now, with setters, I like to pay them in 3 different ways. Number 1, I like to pay them a per set amount. Number 2, I like to pay them a volume bonus. And number 3, I like to pay them a close bonus. They each provide different things. So the per set amount is what they focus on each and every day. I'm trying to get an appointment scheduled. I'm trying to get an appointment scheduled. By the way, I only pay out for qualified appointments. And so if I get on the phone with somebody who, for example, does not have a business, that's an unqualified set, and they would not get compensated for that. Now, the second one is what causes them to push hard every single week. So I may do a bonus structure of if you get 5 sets in a week, you get an extra $300. And that motivates them to create larger volume of sets each week. The third thing that I do is I give them a close bonus. So when that person closes on a program, then they get an additional bonus. Now, I like to keep all of these at a total of about 5%. Again, this is numbers based on my industry. You've got to figure out based on yours. But I like this to be about 5%. So when it comes to the setters, we need to actually base our numbers based on your lowest price program that they're going to sell. I made this mistake pretty early on in my business where I based it on the program that I wanted to sell the most, which was my middle tier program. And what happened was we had a lot of people going through the lower price program, and I was actually losing money when I sold it because I had set up the commission structure for the middle one. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the lowest cost program and we're going to base our numbers on that. And then where we balance that out is with their close bonuses, so they will make more if they're selling on the higher ticket prices. Okay, so we're going to base this, and I'm just doing this because it's easy math. So we're going to base this on a $1,000 program sale. So a $1,000 program sale at 5% is going to be a total of $50 that we have to play with. So if this is the case and I have $50 to play with, I have to now bring this in 3 different ways. So in this, I'm going to have a low amount per set. I would have to have like maybe $10 per set. And then I am going to figure in that 1 out of 5 will close. That is a standard number. If your company ratio is not 25%, it's 40%, then you go ahead and figure that out. But I'm basing these numbers on 25% because that's fairly standard. So let's look at the setter commission example. Let's say that our lowest ticket price point is $5,000. Here's how this would lay out. So the first thing is 5% of $5,000 is $250. So we can pay $250 per deal. The next number that I'm going to look at is the per set amount. In this example, I have set that at $20. The reason is because you're not going to close every single appointment. Industry standard in my industry is that you'll close about 25%. Now, if your numbers are higher, great. But you want to pick something that is going to be safe and make sure that you're protected, right? So if we do $20 and 1 in 5 closes, for every close, we spent $100 on the per set amount. The next thing we're going to look at is the volume bonus. So now I like to put, and you'll notice I have more in the volume bonus than I do in the close because I know that I need them week in, week out, consistently setting high amounts. So I'm going to give them $100 for hitting 5 qualified sets in a week. And so now out of that 5 sets, we get 1 deal. And so it has cost me now $200. And then I'm going to throw in an extra $50 when the deal closes. So that will be just an exciting, woohoo, your person was good and they closed, we're celebrating, here's your $50. If I then go on and I sell a $10,000 program, then this bonus amount goes up. If I sell a $20,000 program, this bonus amount goes up. So this increases based on the program that you sell and the price of the program. So the way that I figure that out is I'll go through these numbers and I'll subtract that from 5% of the 10K deal. So for example, if we close a 10K, that amount is $500 that we have to pay out. Well, we've already paid out 200 of it in the first few. So now we have 300 left in order to give a bonus. Now let's look at a closer example. So with a closer, we want to make sure that they are incentivized to close more and more and more and more.
Give me more! Give me more! Keep going! 20 more steps! 20 more! Keep going, bro!
I'm a fan of commissions that increase based on volume of how much they sell. Again, I don't want my total sales expense to be over 25%. So if my setter is getting 5% and I have a closer, then the closer is going to get up to 20%. That's going to be their max because I don't ever want to go above 5%. And I like to save 5 to 10% for potentially doing bonuses and prizes or potentially hiring a sales manager. So I don't want to max myself out so that I can't afford to do anything else fun for my people. So here's what my commission structure currently looks like. And again, you guys, these things change over time and we play with numbers, but this is what it looks like today. In any given week, if my closer closes under 10,000, they're going to get 10%. If they close 10 to 15,000, they're going to get 15%. And if they close 15K, they're going to get 20%, 15K or higher. And then I also require that my closers maintain a 25% close ratio, because if my closer is below that, then my whole setter structure breaks down. And so then I'm overpaying the setters, and that ends up causing me trouble down the road. Now let's look at the business development model. So in the business development model, what I consider in is that they're going out and they're finding the lead, which means that I can allocate some of the money that I would have paid on marketing to that person's commission for bringing in that brand new lead. So I can actually pay a little bit more. The other thing with the business development is that they're also setting and closing. So I don't have to reserve money for a setter and a closer. They're going out, they're getting the lead, they're closing the deal. So I feel like with a business development person, I have a little bit more room to play with, and I'll go up as high as 30%. So here's what my business development commission structure currently looks like. Remember, I'm willing to pay up to 30%, but I don't ever want to put all of it into commissions because I also want to be able to have bonuses and incentives. So under 5K, they get 15%, 5 to 10K per week, they get 20%, and 10K plus, they get 25%. Now, why are these numbers lower than my closers? Because of the work it takes to get it. So if we have somebody who is needing to go out and acquire the lead and they're needing to close the deal, they're not going to have as many sales conversations because they're doing both of the work. So we want to make sure that we are allowing them to be able to be as successful as possible, because they're kind of doing the work of a setter and a closer, and the commission structure should represent that because we want them to be able to make money and be successful. Are you liking this so far? Is this helpful for you? If so, hit the like button and let me know. So just a couple more tips that I want you to keep in mind as you're putting together your commission structure. Play with the numbers. It's so important that we look at how can we make this look as attractive as possible. If you're in an industry where it has to have a base pay, how can you make the base pay enough that you can get people in, but really put as much as possible into bonuses and commission structures? Also, you want to create a structure where, if at all possible, it avoids people tapping out. Because once your top people tap out at the top of the commission structure, they stop hustling and working hard. And I want my salespeople to be constantly incentivized to work hard and to do their absolute best. My last piece of advice for you is save some money in your sales budget. I know we've been talking about it, but I want to come back and say it again. At some point, if your company continues to grow, you're going to want a sales manager. You want to have money set aside in that commission structure to pay them. Otherwise, you'll end up adding on to what was your top end of how much you wanted to pay out. also save some money for prizes, for incentives, for things like, hey, when we hit $5 bazillion in sales, we are all going to go to the Chuckarama buffet to celebrate. I hope your incentives are better, but you get what I'm talking about. So let's review. First thing you're going to do is figure out how much you can afford to pay. Then you're going to look at your industry, see what everyone else is paying, see if you're competitive. Then you'll come back and you will look at, do you need to adjust your pricing or decrease your expenses in order to be able to be competitive? After that, we're going to play with the numbers and you're going to look at what does your sales system makeup look like? Do you have setters? Do you have closers? Do you have business development people? And set numbers that are going to keep you within the percentage that you're trying to pay out, but look as attractive as possible in order to produce the results you're looking for. If you are looking for more help and support on your sales and marketing system, I would love to offer you our sales and marketing GPS. If you know where you are and you know where you want to go, then it becomes a simple process of figuring out what's the most effective path to get there. So the GPS will take you less than 10 minutes to fill out, and when you do that, you're going to get an 8-page improvement plan with an opportunity to actually review the improvement plan with a real human. I invite you to go and take it now. And if you're looking for a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, might I recommend my private Facebook group, Acquire. It's a great place to get connected, ask questions, and collaborate with other cool entrepreneurs. All right, my friends, this was a nerd video, right? Like I totally geeked out on numbers. And so let me know if this was helpful for you and if you liked it. And I hope you go out there and find some great commission-based salespeople. Thanks so much.